What's up, fishy people? Welcome to Tim's School of Fishing. Class is in session. You know, if the last 3.5 years has taught us anything, it's that society as a whole and people in general have gone absolutely crazy, off their rocker, loopy bananas, Looney Tunes, over the cuckoo's nest, bonkers, and with that, many people are buying their very first handgun. And I can't blame them. But the problem with so many new handgun owners is that many new handgun owners don't take the time to learn what they need to learn to be responsible gun owners. And also, they don't practice enough to be able to use their firearm effectively if they should ever have to use it in a life-threatening situation. So today, I want to share with you 10 tips for new handgun owners that could save your life. Here's tip number 1. Know and practice the 4 universal laws of gun safety at all times. Always treat every gun as if it's loaded. I know that this gun is not loaded, but I'm going to still treat it as if it's loaded. Number 2, always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. Never point it at anyone, even if you know that it's unloaded. Always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. Number 3, keep your finger off of the trigger until you are ready to fire. And number 4, know your target and what's behind it. Tip number 2, read the owner's manual. Every gun that you purchase is going to come with an owner's manual. It's going to tell you how to take the gun apart. It's going to tell you how to clean it. It's going to tell you about the warranty. It's going to tell you about what ammunition that you can use in that firearm. It takes 15 minutes. Read the owner's manual. There's good information in there. Tip number 3, learn how to field strip and clean your gun. Okay, this is not a field stripping video or a gun cleaning video, but every handgun operates essentially the same way. There is some sort of pin or lever or button here that's going to allow you to pull the slide off of the frame. This one has a little takedown lever that you pull down. This one is slightly different. It has a little screw that you just turn a quarter of a turn, then the slide comes off. This one is different still. It has a little pin that you just take a screwdriver or a knife or something, pop that pin out, and then the slide will come off. But they all essentially work the same way. Take your right hand and put your thumb up in there and wrap your finger over the top. Pull the slide back about 1/2 inch. Drop that pin down. Let it go. Pull the trigger and push the slide right off. Every single modern handgun is going to be essentially the same. There's a spring right here called a recoil spring. Just push it in a little bit and it'll come right out. Then you have the barrel. All right, it's typically going to be a different color. Just slide it forward, lift it up, and pull it out. Now you have field stripped your hand. What do you need to clean it? You need a basic cleaning kit. They sell lots of different ones. This is an inexpensive one. It comes with bore brushes and rods, several other brushes, some cleaning patches, and I've thrown a toothbrush in there for some deep cleaning. What do you clean it with? There are several different things that you can use. I use break-free mil-spec CLP. CLP stands for clean, lubricate, and protect. Tip number 3, learn how to field strip and clean your gun. Tip number 4, every gun has a break-in process. I do not care what anybody says, all right? You have metal against metal, and those parts are moving against each other, and until they wear in, there is a break-in process. And you can expedite this break-in process and speed it up so that you don't have any malfunctions when you're firing your gun. When you first get your gun, all right, clean it. Take some of your CLP or whatever it is you choose to use, hoppies, rem oil, there's all kinds of different stuff. Before you ever fire your gun, clean it out. Take some cleaning patches and clean it, right? This gun's been to the range. I put about 200 rounds through it on my last trip, and I haven't cleaned it since, all right? You're gonna find that when you buy your firearm brand new, you're probably gonna get some carbon on there, all right? This is from the factory. There could be excess grease or oil inside there, and you want to get it off, okay? They also test fire a lot of these weapons, so there might be some carbon in there, all right? So you're going to clean it. You're going to lubricate it, all right? There's plenty of videos on how to lube your firearm. It doesn't take much. These two little rails right here are slide rails. I typically just put a drop of oil, CLP, on each and just rub it in. And then I'll do the same thing here where the slide slides along there. You typically don't have to put any lubricant on your recoil spring. Every once in a while, if you just want to run your finger over it, you can. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do when you bring your gun home, you're going to strip it and you're going to clean it. The second thing that you can do to expedite the break-in process is rack your slide repeatedly. Now, you're going to find that it takes a lot more force to rack the slide than you think it does. Okay? Now, you've got that metal slide rail sliding along the metal slide, and by doing this over and over again, no matter how you decide you want to rack it, all right, it's going to accomplish two things. It's going to help to break in those slide rails, and it's also going to get you comfortable with operating the slide. Okay? The last thing you want to do is polish the feed ramp. Okay? When you field strip it and you look at the barrel, there's a little ramp right there. A lot of times it has a coating on it. So you want to take a very fine grit sandpaper, like 1,000 grit or 800 grit, and just lightly sand. Don't go crazy. Just sand very lightly on that feed ramp. And then touch the sandpaper on the end of the feed ramp a little bit. That's going to help to prevent any failure to feed. All right. So, expedite the break-in process is tip number 4. You can do that by cleaning your firearm before you ever fire it. You can do that by racking the slide repeatedly. And you can do that by polishing the feed ramp. All right, tip number 5. Practice your grip and dry firing repeatedly at home. Before you ever go to the range and before you ever put a single round through your pistol, practice dry firing. Okay? One of the biggest problems with new shooters is that they shoot off target down and to the left, and this is because they slap the trigger, they snatch the trigger. Practicing your grip and dry firing repeatedly is going to get you familiar with the trigger, and then when you do go to the range to shoot for the first time, you're going to be that much better, that much ahead of the game. All right, you cannot dry fire enough. All right, tip number 6, shoot and practice and train for self-defense often. I cannot tell you how many new gun owners buy a new gun and never put a single round through it. This is a huge, huge mistake. Understand this. if you are ever in a life-threatening situation, in a real self-defense situation where you have to defend your life, you are going to experience what's called an adrenaline dump. When that happens, you are going to have a loss of fine motor skills. Your hands are going to shake. Your hands are going to sweat. You're going to lose hearing. You're going to experience tunnel vision. You're going to hyperventilate. You're going to have shortness of breath. Your heart rate is going to speed up. This makes shooting difficult even for experienced shooters. So understand that if you're ever in a situation where you have to use your firearm and you have never fired that gun under a non-stressful situation, you are not going to do well when you are faced with a situation. All right? So practice often. Put rounds downrange through your gun. Tip number 7, take a basic pistol class. Then take an advanced pistol class. Then take a self-defense pistol class. Tip number 8, get your concealed carry license. A handgun cannot save your life if you do not carry it with you. All right? Most of the time, if you are faced with a life-threatening situation, it will not be in your home. You will be away from your home. All right? Get your concealed carry license so that you can carry your firearm with you. If you don't carry it, it cannot help you. Tip number 9, know the gun laws in your state. Tip number 10, never, ever brandish your firearm unless you are in real danger in a life-threatening situation and you intend to use that firearm to save your life. Don't take your gun and wave it around at somebody to try to flex on them, all right, because somebody cut you off in traffic. Don't do it. Don't. All right? You can get arrested for that. You can get in serious legal trouble for that. And understand that even if you do fire your gun in a life-threatening self-defense situation, you are going to be faced with a legal battle. You are going to have to defend yourself, and your life will forever be changed. Okay? I highly recommend that you subscribe to 3 channels on YouTube and you watch them often. I will link them in the description down below. The first one is Tom Grieve, Grieve. He is an attorney and he specializes in concealed carry and self-defense. Number 2 is Thunder Ranch. That is Clint Smith, and he is going to give you the down and dirty about gun ownership and self-defense. And number 3, the name of the channel is called Wilson Combat, and I suggest you watch Masad Ayub. There's 10 tips that you need to practice, okay? You need to do these things, take them seriously. They can save your life. That's it for this episode of Tim's School of Fish. Thanks for watching. Class dismissed.